can hear me properly and you can see my screen without any problem. Just in case if you face any trouble during some audio or video issues, you can just let me know, because sometimes due to some network latency or problem, some of the viewers not able to view the screen, or the audio, sometimes it cuts out. Just in case if you face any kind of these issues, please let me know. Now before we can start, let me just make you familiar with the GoToWebinar tool. Right now, by default, all you guys are on mute. The reason being because the session gets recorded, right? So to cut off the background noises, all the attendees are put on mute. Now just in case if you have some questions, so either you have the question pane or the chat window, and just in case you want to speak out, there is a symbol to raise the hand. Once you click on raise hand, or once you click on that symbol, then I just get to know that you want to speak out. I'll put you off the mute and you can speak your questions or queries. Alright, so I'll start with the introduction. I'll introduce myself first, and then I'll just call out the names one by one, and you guys can let me know your background. First thing first, you can just let me know your first, last name, your background, and what are your expectations from this course. So starting from my introduction, my name is Rohan Arora. I'm located in Delhi, India. I've been working as an AWS architect and consultant for the past 5.5 years, and apart from working as a full-time consultant, I'm also working as a part-time trainer, where I share my previous and existing experience with all the people. I've been associated with Edureka for almost 2 years now, and I've been taking their batches to deliver the AWS Architect Certification Training courses. Right. So I have almost 10 years of experience, in which half of the one is associated to Amazon Web Services. So way before when the Amazon Web Services was even introduced in India, I got the opportunity to start working on its deployment and designing models. So I worked with various esteemed clients like Accenture, Wipro, AIG, JP Morgan, and so on. And I've actively worked on the deployments and taking care of the infrastructure. So I'll start with you guys. I'll just call out the names. Okay, so you can just give you a brief introduction. You can just let us know where are you located, your past experience, or I would say that what are you doing nowadays, and also you can just let me know what are your expectations from this course. Okay, so I'll start with Ashutosh Dixit. Ashutosh, I'm just putting you off the mute. You can just speak out.
Hi Rohan, hi everyone. My name is Ashutosh Dixit. I am basically located right now in Bangalore. I have around total 9 years of experience. I am basically into Microsoft technologies, .NET, MVC, database, SQL Server, and all. The expectation from this AWS certification and AWS courses is like I'm looking to migrate our applications into the AWS. So for that, I'm looking for some broader level how we can migrate our application into AWS to save some infrastructure cost. So this is my expectation, and become more knowledge in getting more knowledge into the AWS into depth. Yep, that's all. Yep. Thank you, Rohan. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ashutosh. Next, I'll just put Azhar Moin off the mute. Yeah, hi Azhar. Azhar, can you hear us? Could you please introduce yourself? Not getting audio from your side. So Azhar, I have to put you on the mute again because I'm not getting any response. Might be you can just type in. Okay. Ramakrishna saying I don't have any mic from my end. No, nobody's Ramakrishna. You can just type in your introduction and speak out on your behalf. Next, I'll put Kamesh off the mute. Yeah, hi Kamesh.
Hey, good morning, and the guys who are in India, good evening. Myself, Kameshwar, and I'm based out in US at Chatsford. And totally, I have 13 plus year of experience, and currently I'm working with Barclay card. So the expectation from this training is to get certified in the AWS architect because the client is looking the people and they have a vision to move towards cloud.
All right, that's great. So which part of the US you're located as a way? I didn't get that point.
That is in like Chatsford. It is Wilmington in Delaware, like near to New York.
Okay, okay, yeah. Welcome to the batch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kamesh. Next, I'll put Karthik Venkatraman off the mute. Hi, Karthik.
Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Karthik Venkatraman. I have 10 years of experience in various domains, which includes Windows, Unix, SQL. The prime expectation of this training will be to get an idea on cloud computing and especially on Amazon Web Services. We have few things coming up in our assignment down the line, so I would like to play actively on that. So that's the intention of taking this course.
All right, that's great. Welcome to the batch, Karthik, and thanks for giving introduction. Thank you. Next, I put Raj off the mute. Hello, Raj.
Hi, this is Raj. I'm from California. I've been working from the last 17 years in Unix and Linux. I have knowledge on cloud, but I would like to know the AWS because the market, most of the companies are using AWS. So I want to move into AWS now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raj, and welcome to the batch.
Thank you.
Next, I'll put Ramakrishna off the mute. Hi, Ramakrishna. There are two Ramakrishna, so you can just try to speak out. I'm not sure which one of, whether you can just get to know which I'm calling right now. Ramakrishna, can you hear me right now? Actually, there are two Ramakrishnans. Okay, Ramakrishna has issues with the microphone, I guess. No, this is the other one. Okay, I just put off the mute. Next, I'll put Ranga Reddy off the mute. Hi, Ranga. I think your microphone is not working because I can see it's grayed out.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, hi.
My name is Ranga Reddy. I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. I have 4 years of Unix admin experience and recently completed my master's, and I'm interested in cloud, which motivates me to take this course. Thank you.
All right, that's great.
Right.
Thanks, Ranga.
Yep.
So next I'll just put Sai Shravani off the mute. Hi, Sai. So if you can hear me, you can just turn on your microphone because I can see it's grayed out.
Hi, this is Sai. I'm from Minnesota, US. I recently completed my master's and I'm presently working on DevOps. And to know more about AWS and we are planning to implement it, I want to learn about that.
All right, that's great. So you are coming from the DevOps background. So which automation tools you're working on right now?
Jenkins and Chef, Nexus.
Chef.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. So since you're coming from DevOps background, it would be easier for you to grasp the concepts on the cloud.
Yeah.
So thanks for the introduction and welcome to the batch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll put Siva off the mute. Hi, Siva.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Shiva. I have like 4 years experience. I'm working as a storage administrator. Right now my client is moving to AWS. So right now they are looking someone who are certified in that one. So I wanted to get this course so that I can be certified and I can move forward in my career.
All right, that's great. Of course, Siva, we'll work on the certification questions and strategies as well. So this course will help you to get the certification cleared. Right. So
Thank
welcome
you.
to the batch and thanks for introduction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll put Subhash off the mute. Yeah, hi Subhash. Subhash, can you hear me? No response. So Subhash, I'm just putting you on the mute again. So next I'll put Subhajit Chatterjee off the mute. Hi Subhajit.
Yeah, is it audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. Hi Rohan, this is Shubhajit Chatterjee, working in a IT infrastructures in a company Century Plyboards India Limited. I'm having the experience on networking. Right now I'm interested about the AWS knowledge as well as certifications. As we are having ERP and we are moving into a cloud, we are planning to move. So that's my main name.
All right, that's great. And where are you located?
In Calcutta.
In Calcutta. All right, that's great. So thank you, Subhajit, and welcome to the batch.
Thank you.
Next, I'll put Syed off the mute. Yeah, hi, Syed.
Hello, I'm Syed from New York. I work for a law firm called Paul Hastings. I've been with them for the last 10 years, and recently we are thinking to move more towards cloud computing. So I just want to get my hands all dirty in that AWS so I can be prepared if decision has been made.
All right, that's great. So welcome to the batch, Syed, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Next we have Tony James. Yeah, hi Tony. I'll just put you off the mute.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tony. I'm from Bangalore. So I have been working in multimedia domain for the last 10 years. So I'm thinking of a career switch. So that's why I'm attending this course.
All right, that's great. So you're going for the multimedia. It's a whole new track for you. So it will benefit. Yeah, welcome to the batch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next we have Venkat. We have two Venkats. I can't see the last name, so I've just put the first Venkat off the mute.
Yeah, I'm Bashir Hanga, so I just logged in from the other one. I don't know, I probably showing twice. So yeah, so I'm basically new to AWS, but I'm interested and I want to get the AWS associate certification. And what I'm looking forward is knowledge on AWS and some tips as to how do we clear the certification.
Of course, we'll discuss all the tips to clear the certification. We'll do that, right? Thanks, Venkat. Yeah, welcome to the batch.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I can see that people are coming from very good backgrounds. Some are coming from the Microsoft, Linux, Unix, storage, multimedia. So it's a good thing because you can use or leverage your past experience, and you can use that onto this AWS platform. Now, Amazon Web Services is a leader in the infrastructure as a service domain, and now there's a huge demand of the Amazon Web Services professionals, whether you just call it in the United States or in India, right? So it's a good time for us to hone our skills on this platform, and this would help us to get tremendous opportunities in the future going forward, right? Now, before I can start with the topics, let me just explain you the rules of the game, because today's session will be quite simple. Okay, I'm not stressed too much on the concepts. Reason being because my motive is that I should make you comfortable with the platform, because it's an online class. My motive is that I should make it as interactive as possible. Okay, so your contribution should be equal. So ask as many questions as you can. If you have anything that you can contribute, your past experience and something like that, you can just speak out. I'm sorry I didn't let Ramakrishnan introduce himself because he can't speak out. Ramakrishnan is from Hyderabad, and he has assisted administrator for the past some years. Okay. Right. So as I said before, I guess some people join in later on. This is a GoToWebinar tool. By default, all you guys are on the mute to cut the background noises because this session gets recorded. You get a copy of this recorded session after the session gets over. Within 3 to 4 hours, you get the copy of it. Right? If you want to speak out, there are two ways. You can use the chat window or the question pane. The second way out is there's a symbol to raise a hand. You just click on that symbol of hand. I'll get to know that you want to speak out. I just put you off the mute and you can just let me know your question. Or you can just type in your questions. I can just read your questions and give my answers. Right? Now during the entire session, today's session or the future sessions, if you face any trouble with the video or audio, please feel free to let me know. Okay, don't hesitate because sometimes at the background, due to some network latency, you may face some audio or video issues. So please let me know then and there. All right. Now, say that let's come to your question later on. Okay, Azhar, I was trying to I had put you off the mute, but I was not getting an audio from your side. Sorry about that. So Azhar is saying that he's located in US Plano, Texas, and he's a system database administrator with 12 plus years of work experience and is new to the cloud. So joining this training would help him to switch his career to a new profile and to get started with some job opportunity in the cloud technology. Thanks, Azhar. Right. So that's about the GoToWebinar tool. I just introduced about this thing right now. Next thing is that since you guys have enrolled for this course, you have got access to this platform called Learning Management System, or it's called the LMS. Right. So the site is educa.co. Right. You get the option to sign in. Once you sign in, it gives you the dashboard like this for the courses that you have enrolled for. For example, on my dashboard you can see AWS Architect, Certification Training, and DevOps, right? Because I take these two courses. Now, regarding the AWS Architect Certification Training, once you log into your dashboard, if you just click over here, it will give you the entire overview of the contents that you can access. Over here, once you click on the codes you have enrolled for, you can see all these tabs over here. Getting started, pre-recorded classes, new course content, course content. Now, in the pre-recorded classes, you can see the recorded sessions of the previous classes that have happened, right? The tab that is useful for you is the new course content. Under the new course content, you can see that this entire course is being divided and structured in 10 different modules. Right? These are 10 different modules, and your entire course is being structured and segregated in these 10 modules. If you open any one of the modules, you can see the following things. The class recording. So once the session gets over, the recorded session gets uploaded to this LMS within 3 to 4 hours. Once that is done, you get a notification over the email. Okay. Karthik is saying my voice is breaking up. I'm not sure, guys, whether you are facing the same trouble. Is my voice breaking for other people as well? Because Karthik is reporting the same problem. Okay, for you as well. Okay, it's breaking right now. Just give me a second over here. Okay, guys, if my voice is breaking, let me just check right now. Give me one moment. It's fine for Venkat. Hang on one second, please, because sometimes due to some network lag, this kind of problem occurs. Just give me a second over here. Guys, I've just make some change at the back end. Just in case if you face the same trouble again, please let me know if the voice still breaks. Okay. All right. So we were discussing this concept, not the concept, but this platform, the LMS, or the learning management system through which you can access all your contents, recording, presentations, quiz, and assignment. Okay. So all these things you can access for each module, for each of the modules. Apart from that, you can give the course feedback. Also, you can just log into the LMS and you can join the class from here. On the right side, you can see over here, it says your next class, and this is the time that is showing up over here. So you can click on join class, and just in case if you delete the email that contains a link to join in, you can just log in to your LMS and you can just join the class from here. Also, if you have any questions, from me, because during the class you can put your questions and I can just answer them right now. But just in case, if you're not in the session, during the offline mode, if you have any questions from me, you can just go to support at the top right corner, just click over here. Any kind of questions you have regarding the code, so you just click on Cloud Computing with AWS, you select the options over here, and you can just type in your questions and click on pose a question. So me or any of the support guys will receive your query and we'll just get back to you. Okay. So this is about the LMS or the learning management system. Just in case if you face any trouble while getting access to it, you can just let me know. Or I can there's a email address, support@edureka.com. Let me just type in for you on the chat window. So if you guys have any problems signing in, you can just send an email to this email ID, and these guys will get back to you. Any one of these support guys will contact you and work on the issue. Okay. Ashutosh is saying, is the next class tomorrow same time or morning, 7 a.m. IST? Ashutosh, it's my next session. There's a morning batch that I also conduct. So that's for me. Otherwise, tomorrow the session will be at the same time, 8:30 to 11:30 p.m. as per the Indian Standard Time. So I have to take another batch tomorrow in the morning. That's why it's showing up. Okay. All right. So let's move forward now. So I've briefly introduced you about the webinar and the LMS. One more thing, at the end of each session, you get a feedback form. Okay, so once you sign out, you get a feedback form where you have to rate the instructor and the content. And also you can put your comments optionally. So I would highly encourage you that at the end of each and every class or session, please fill the feedback form. Anything that you think is positive or negative, please write it down. rate the instructor, rate the content, and put in your comments, because we take your feedbacks in a very constructive way. Anything that we can improve upon in our content or delivery skills, we'll do that. Okay, so your feedback is quite important. Please don't miss filling the feedback form after each and every session. All right. So that's about this overview of the content and the platform. Right now, I'll just discuss with a very brief concept, or I would say a simple concept of cloud computing. I will just discuss what a cloud computing is. Okay. Just give me a second over here. Guys, if my voice still breaks, or if you face any audio issues again, just let me know. Okay. All right. So, introduction and basic concepts. This is our first theoretical overview of the cloud computing. So we'll discuss what the cloud computing is, what are the different deployment models, and what are the different layers of the cloud computing. So let's kick on. What's a cloud computing? A cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources, for example, networks, servers, storage, applications, and services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. I would say the simplest definition of the cloud computing is that any kind of thing that you're storing, any kind of application or services that you're hosting, you are doing that, or you are not doing that in your own premises or in your local machines. So you're storing your data, you're running the application services in someone's hardware in a remote data center. Okay. Now, cloud computing has become a part of our daily lives. Whether you're accessing a Dropbox, Google Drive, or you're trying to access any of your applications, or you download the applications from the App Store, Play Store. I guess nowadays most of the applications that you are accessing nowadays are cloud-based, because the owner or the vendor of that software or the service that you are accessing, he's not using its own platform to give you the services. Okay, and also you're accessing these services and applications or storing the data in a remote data center that you don't have access to or transparency into. So cloud computing simply means that you are using the computing resources, whether it's networks, servers, storage, applications, and services, and these resources you can provision them and you can release them with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So all these computing resources can be provisioned with minimum time, effort, and you don't need any kind of manual intervention from the service provider side. Okay, so nowadays there's so many cloud computing companies that are coming up, or they're running this business, like AWS, Microsoft, Google, Salesforce, DigitalOcean. So there's so many competitors in the market. Okay. Let's move on. Now, what are the deployment models of the Amazon Web Services? The first one is the private cloud. What is a private cloud? It's a cloud platform that is dedicated for the specific organization. Why? A private cloud means that a piece of cloud or the entire data center, it is being owned and completely managed by one of the organizations. For example, let's suppose that give me 1 second over here. For example, let's suppose that this is one of the data centers that belongs to your organization, okay? And this is your head office or your corporate office from where your employees access all the application services hosted on the hardware residing in this data center. So you have a dedicated link between your office and the data center. You can say that this is your private cloud. The reason being because you completely own a portion of the entire data center, right? The other example can be that, for example, there is a concept called VPC or a virtual private cloud. So you have your own cloud where you have your own resources running into that. So you can access your resources from your office either to the internet or through a dedicated link, and you can get access to all the resources. So a portion of the cloud or the data center that you have complete access upon, it comes under the category of private cloud. Okay? Azar is saying, will disturb you. I'm facing the same voice break issue. Guys, are you all facing the same problem again? The voice breaking issue right now? No? Okay. Karthik is saying no. All right. Breaking at some time. Okay. Azhar, I guess you have to check from your side, or I would say that because most of the guys are saying that they are able to listen to me properly. So I would say that you can just sign out and sign back in, and I guess this should solve your problem. All right. So let's move forward now. So this is the private cloud because you own the portion of the cloud or you have the complete access upon it. The next category is called the public cloud. Now it is available to public users to use the cloud infrastructure, right? Public cloud means that different individuals and organizations can use a portion of the cloud or the data center on a shared platform. For example, Amazon Web Services is a public cloud. Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, DigitalOcean, all these cloud providers they come under the category of public cloud. The reason being because different individuals and organizations can use the public cloud to get access to the services and applications, to host their services and applications, and to store their data. Hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud it's a cocktail of a public and a private cloud. It's a private cloud that can be extended to use resources in the public cloud. Hybrid cloud means it's a mix and match of the public and your private cloud. For example, let's suppose that, let's take an example. This is your data center. So this is your own private cloud because all your data center is being owned by you. Okay, this is your corporate office right over here. Okay, so this is your office. So you have a connectivity between your office and the data center. Now, apart from using the private cloud, you can also use one of the public clouds like AWS, Microsoft, Google. It's a public cloud. And you can have a connectivity from your office to this public cloud, or between your data center or to this public cloud. So this is the most common deployment model that you will see, because not all the organizations, they have either the private cloud or they have the public clouds fully. So this is one of the most common model that you will see. So this is the hybrid cloud, where an organization is using both the public and the private clouds at the same time. For example, let's suppose that an organization has kept all their database or their private applications in the private data center, whereas they are using the public cloud to host their public websites. Okay, so they can use both the public and the private clouds both at the same time. Next, we have the community cloud. It supports a community of several organizations having shared concerns, where the cloud can be either private or it can be public. So a community cloud means that some organizations or individuals, they have the shared concerns or some common goals. They can come together, they can share their public and private resources, and they can host their applications and services. For example, let's suppose different organizations like Facebook, Microsoft, they want to promote the awareness about the global warming. So they want to host some of the websites, or they have some projects that they are running on shared basis, some research programs that they are working on in collaboration. So they can use their own resources, they can share their resources to host some of the shared application services. Okay, so this comes under the category of community cloud, where different organizations or individuals, they share their public and private resources to accomplish a common goal. Tony, your question is security the reason for using the private cloud or public? Tony, I would say that security is one of the concerns, right? Because in the private cloud, you have the full access or full control over your resources. In the public cloud, you don't have that much visibility, but I can't say that the public cloud is not secure, because if you are using a trusted public cloud like Amazon Web Services, then security is not a big concern. But yes, of course, using the private cloud gives you more confidence. Ramakrishna is saying, can you please explain the community cloud again? Ramakrishna, the community cloud means that different individuals and organizations who have the shared concerns or common goal, they come together, they share their resources, whether it can be public or private, to host some of the application services. For example, some different companies, they can come together for some research project, right? For example, NASA and Facebook, they come together to work on a project to give free internet services to the people across the globe. So these two organizations can come together, and since they're working on a common research project, they can make use of their own private resources, share them across, and host some of the application services on those shared resources. Because they're working in collaboration, so they can leverage their private clouds to deploy some of the common application services. Okay. Any more questions, guys, from your side regarding this deployment model? Guys, but today I have some bad throat, so That's why I'm stressing too much right now. So tomorrow I think my voice will be much clearer. All right. So let's move forward now. Now let's discuss the anatomy of the cloud stack. These are the different layers of the cloud computing, starting from application layer, software environment layer, infrastructure, virtualization, and the physical layer. Let's discuss the application layer that comes under the category of software as a service. Software as a service or the application layer means that you already have deployed the application and services on the cloud platform, and now the end users can sign on and access those application and services. For example, today you just develop an application on the cloud, and you can expect that a user can download your application from the cloud and he can access it. For example, Dropbox, Google Drive, these are all cloud-based applications that help you to store your data. So an application layer provides software as a service, or in the short form you can call it as SaaS. It targets the end users who access the software applications or services provided by the layer to the internet. For example, Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets. Okay, so as an end user, you don't have to get into some configuration or deployment part. These applications are deployed on the cloud. It's just that you need to sign on and get access to them. Software environment layer that comes under the category of platform as a service. Now this accelerates the development, deployment, and the management of cloud applications without installing the programming tools and platforms on developers' local machines. So this is more suitable for the developers now if they want to develop, deploy, and manage the applications on some of the platforms. In that case, they will use this platform as a service. For example, in the Google, we have Google's App Engine. In the Amazon, we have Elastic Beanstalk. So the developers can use this platform to develop and deploy their applications instead of doing that on their local machines. Infrastructure layer. Now this is the most important. The reason being because Amazon Web Services is more inclined toward infrastructure layer. So it is divided into 3 different parts: computational, storage, and networking. If you just talk about the computational resources, it offers infrastructure as a service. They are provided to cloud users in the form of virtual machines. For example, Amazon EC2 or Microsoft Azure. See, whichever cloud platform you pick up, the core or the foundation of all the services is your virtual machines, because at the end you would be deploying your applications upon the virtual machines. In the Amazon Web Services, we have EC2, that stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, whereas in the Microsoft we have Azure. So both these terminologies define the VMs or the virtual machines onto the cloud. So once you launch your virtual machines, you just deploy the applications upon them. Storage resources, it offers data storage as a service. In short form, we can call it as DAAS. For example, Amazon S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Services. Storage is one of the biggest challenge for any kind of deployments, because if you are an organization and you're looking for a redundant and reliable storage option, it comes with a cost. Why? So you can leverage your cloud platform to deploy your storage resources upon that. In the Amazon Web Services, apart from S3, we have EBS, that stands for Elastic Block Store, Storage Gateway, Glacier, Elastic Cache, Import Export Snowball. All these options are there at your disposal so that you can leverage the storage options onto the Amazon Web Services platform. Networking resources. It presents the concept of network as a service. For example, Internet Gateway. Now, as an architect, it would be expected that you have a basic knowledge of on the networking, because you have to architect or create the entire network that contains the I would say the cluster of your resources. For example, let's suppose that this is your AWS cloud. In the AWS cloud, you have all these virtual machines, so you have to network together all the virtual machines together. Apart from that, you also need some networking resources, for example, Internet Gateway. For example, I just place an IGW, Internet Gateway, so that your Amazon Web Services cloud can interact with other networks like Internet. Because whenever you deploy your resources onto the Amazon cloud, the Amazon Web Services give you a piece of their infrastructure that is called VPC, or the Virtual Private Cloud, which is an isolated portion. Now you want that this isolated portion onto the Amazon cloud should interact with other networks like Internet. So this entire thing should be networked, or it should be architected from your side. You have to use some networking resources like Internet Gateway, NAT Gateway, NAT Instance, route tables, access control list, route tables, so that you can facilitate the internal and external networking. Okay, so we'll discuss the concept of VPC, where we'll discuss how to create the entire network onto the Amazon platform. Virtualization layer. Virtualization layer means that it represents the basic software for managing the physical hardware resources in the physical layer and the virtualized resources and the infrastructure layer. Why? See, what happens is that virtualization is the backbone of your cloud computing. Today, if the cloud computing is so much accessible and feasible, it is because virtualization has become so much common that now you can have the virtualization of the virtual machines running on your own local machines or PCs, and you can have different virtual machines with different platforms running on the same physical host or physical server. The virtualization layer, it represents the VMM, the virtual machine monitor, or the hypervisor that facilitates the creation and management of VMs, each with separate operating systems and applications. This hypervisor or virtualization layer manages the backend operation of these VMs by VMs means virtual machines, by allocating the necessary resources such as CPU, memory, and storage. For example, Xen and VMware ESX or ESXi, these are the hypervisors that have been used in the industry. In the Amazon Web Services, we use Xen as a hypervisor on the physical servers. So it works in such a way that upon this same physical server, you install this hypervisor. The responsibility of this hypervisor is to carve out the physical resources from the hardware and distribute it to the different virtual machines. And each of this virtual machine can have a separate guest operating system. For example, this can run your Red Hat Linux virtual operating system. This can run your Windows Server 2008. This can run your 2012 Windows Server 2012. So instead of running a single operating system on the same physical hardware machine, you can run different virtual machines that can have a separate guest operating system. All right. Venkat is saying, how is the virtualization different from the cloud? Venkat, virtualization is the technology that helps you to create virtual machines on the same physical host. That's called the virtualization. Cloud means that you have the privilege to access the resources that is being deployed on some remote hardware machine that is running in a remote data center. Cloud means that anything that you are accessing, you're not doing that on your physical machine. Okay. For example, today I used Dropbox to save my documents. Dropbox is a cloud-based storage option. Okay. So I'm not storing any data in my local Mac machine. I'm storing the data onto the Dropbox cloud platform. Virtualization, it's a simple technology, plain technology that helps to create different virtual machines on to the same physical host. Right now, let me show you that. So Ashutosh, your question is virtualization also possible in cloud? What's the benefit? Ashutosh, the thing is, if I'm referring to the cloud, I'm talking about the data centers, the remote data centers that I'm accessing. Now those data centers, they have the physical hardware machines running into them, right? So those physical machines will have the virtualization enabled. Okay. One good question is how is it different from clouds clustered servers with say VMs? Venkat, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Clustered servers, I'm not sure about it. But VMs are simple the virtual machines. So don't mix the virtual machines with the cloud. See, right now, if you just forget what a cloud is, let me show you that one thing. I have deployed, you can see on my screen, it's VMware Fusion. On my Mac machine, I'm using this VMware Fusion to deploy 2 virtual machines onto my cloud. Let me show you that. I'm running Windows 10 on my Mac machine as a virtual machine. So virtualization doesn't mean that it has to be associated to the cloud. Right now, on my local machine, I can also run multiple virtual machines right now. Right now, you can see that I'm just logging into my Windows PC that is running as a virtual machine, right? So virtualization does not necessarily means that it is associated to the cloud, right? But yes, virtualization has facilitated or it has enhanced the functionality of the cloud providers because now they can use the same physical host to service or to provide services to different clients or different customers. Let me show you that. Just hang on a second, please. I think the screen got frozen. Okay, you can see that the Windows is booting up, so this takes some time. So what I'm saying is that virtualization does not necessarily means that it has to be associated with the cloud. Virtualization simply means that on the same physical machine, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or a computer server, you can have different platforms running, plain and simple. Give me 1 second over here. Right. Just give me a second. All right. So you can see that on the two machines I'm running two operating systems. This is called the concept of virtualization. Now, for the service providers, how it is useful? Let's suppose that this is a physical server. Might be this an HP or IBM or Dell server. Now, what your service provider do or your cloud provider does that he launches different virtual machines on the same physical box. These small boxes that I'm launching right now, these are virtual machines. So on the same HP, IBM or Dell physical box, these are the different virtual machines. Might be this virtual machine can belong to JP Morgan. This can belong to AIG. This can belong to Accenture. This can belong to Wipro. This can belong to some other company, for example, let's suppose HCL. So different individuals and organizations can run their virtual machines on a shared platform. The virtualization has made this thing possible. Before the virtualization existed, what used to happen before is that you can run only one operating system on the same physical host. Now you can have different virtual machines running different operating systems, and these can belong to different individuals and organizations. So this is how your cloud provider, whether it's Amazon Web Services, Google, Microsoft, they use the same physical host to launch multiple virtual machines belonging to different customers or clients. All right. Shiva, your question is a private cloud. Every company has data center at remote location. So does it mean it's private cloud? Of course, Shiva. If a company has its own data center or a piece of data center, which means that company has its rack space in one of the data centers, and the company has its own hardware placed in that rack, so you can say that it's a private cloud. Kamesh, your question is that virtual machine launching different operating system, can each one of them has different JVM? I didn't get your point, Kamesh. You have to reformulate your question. Okay. So that's about the virtualization layer. Let's discuss our next layer that's called the physical layer, hardware as a service. Now this is the backbone of the cloud, including actual physical hardware resources and switches. See, at the end you are using the cloud resources of a cloud provider, or the physical resource. I'm saying that because what you'll be doing is that if you are launching your services and applications that is being hosted in one of the hardware that is being placed in one of the data centers that's being owned by your cloud provider. So you can say that your cloud provider acts as a physical, or I would say the hardware as a service provider. Hardware as a service provider operates, manages, and upgrades the hardware on behalf of its consumers for the duration of the sublease. So the hardware as a service provider owns, creates, manages, upgrades the entire hardware aspects of your hardware layer. So you as a consumer or the end user, you don't have to worry about what's running in the data centers. It is just that you have to use the service and features that uses the computing resources of these data centers or the hardware. So the cloud provider is fully responsible to take care of this entire physical layer. Okay. So this completes our basic overview of the cloud computing. Okay, Kamesh is saying, can you please unmute me? Okay, Kamesh, I'm just putting you off the mute. Yes, Kamesh, what's the question?
Rohan, my question was like, as you said, like one operating system. Then I virtualize. So virtualize in the sense each the box which so one box may be the Windows XP, the second box can be the Linux, and third box can be like Mac. Now virtual machine JVM I said. So in Mac I can have two JVM running or Java instance running. Similar Red Hat 2 like that. In the Windows I can have 2-3 JVM running. That's what I said.
Yes, you can say that. You can do that. See, the thing is, on the same physical host, we have different virtual machine running. Those different virtual machines can either run Java, Linux, Windows, Mac, any kind of operating system that you want to run. It's up to you.
Okay.
Right. So the thing is that on the same physical host, instead of running a single operating system, you are running multiple operating systems in parallel.
Exactly. Virtual machine which we are saying is nothing but the operating system we are dividing.
You can say that.
Yeah.
You can say that. You can say that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks. Alright guys, so this completes our overview or the introduction to the cloud computing. Any questions, any doubts? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Karthik, I can see you have raised the hand. You want to speak out? Karthik Venkatraman. Karthik, I'm just putting you off the mute. Yes, Karthik.
Yes, Rohan. I have a quick question. Like you were just talking about when you say virtualization. My understanding is it is sharing of the hardware resources. But how can you say that we are sharing the operating system? It is individual operating system running on the individual virtual machines that we have created on the same host. Is there an interconnectivity between the virtual machines? Like, I mean, then how can you say that the operating system can be shared?
No, I didn't say that the operating system can be shared. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said the physical host is shared.
Okay.
On the same physical host, you have different virtual machines, and each virtual machine is can belong to different individual and organization. So this is a shared platform, I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And one more question. When you say that, let's say an organization X has a data center in a remote location, okay? So when you say that is a cloud platform, so what is the necessity for them to come to various vendors like, Amazon and Microsoft? What is the difference? There must be some pros and cons in that, right? So what
Yeah, that's a good question. See, the thing is that you're saying that why a company needs to switch from the public cloud, private cloud to the public cloud. Right? Because if a company has its own data center, why it has to switch to one of the cloud providers like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, all these kind of things. See, the reason being, first thing first, if you pick any one of the companies, the main goal of any company is to save the cost, because money saved is money earned. Spending tens of thousands to millions of dollars is a big challenge for any of the organizations, right? To bring down the cost of the IT infrastructure, the companies plan to migrate their resources from the private to the public cloud. That's the first reason, to save the cost. Right. Second thing, because the thing is, in your private cloud, you have to buy your own hardware, routers, switches, servers, cables. You have to get the rack space. If you have your own data center, you have to take care of the cooling. You have to ensure that you have 24/7 uninterrupted power supply. You have to hire the staff to take care of your data centers. You need some people to configure the servers from scratch and perform day-to-day maintenance and administration. So running a data center is a big headache, both in terms of time, money, and effort. For example, let's suppose that your organization is a pharmaceutical company. Now the core business of your company is to produce the medicines, right? Running the data center is not your core business. So instead of investing time, money, and effort in deploying the data centers, the company can outsource this kind of thing to some cloud providers. They can say, okay, let us not deploy our own data centers. Let's deploy our resources into the Amazon Web Services cloud. Now in that case, you don't have to buy any hardware. You don't have to take care of the entire data center infrastructure. You don't have to worry about 24/7 uninterrupted power supply. You don't have to worry about whether your data center is running properly or not. It is just that you have a simple console. You just have to run your application services. So this brings your upfront investment to many times. Okay.
Got it.
Also, it gives you flexibility. The kind of flexibility that you get with the cloud platform, you can never ever get that with your private cloud. There's a concept that we use called elasticity. We'll discuss that. Elasticity means that you can anytime increase or decrease your number of instances automatically. This thing you can never achieve with your private cloud because it's not possible. In the private cloud, we use something called scalability. Scalability means that once you grow your architecture, you can't roll it back. But you have the principle of elasticity that you can achieve while using the cloud provider. So it is the elasticity, flexibility, cost effectiveness, and ease of use. These are the benefits that facilitate or help the companies to move over to the cloud platform. Okay. So over here, what you're doing is you are converting the capital expenses to the operational expenses. That's a benefit you're getting. All right.
Got it. Thanks.
Thanks. So guys, Karthik has put a very good question because give me 1 second over here. We should be aware that why on the earth we have to go to the cloud, because there's so many companies who are running their own data centers. So why we need to go to the cloud? See, the thing is, if your company or you today want to deploy your own data center, it is a very tough job, both in terms of cost, time, money, and effort. So let me show you how a data center looks like. See, this is your entire data center, right? It contains your racks of servers. Now, if you today you go ahead and say that, okay, let's deploy our own data center, let's have it our own data center, which means first thing first, you have to shred out your tens of thousands or millions of dollars, depending upon how huge your infrastructure should be, right? You need some technicians to maintain your data centers and so on. So data center means that you have to have a good infrastructure, a huge amount to maintain your data centers. So not all the companies can afford that. Nowadays you can see there's so many startup companies like Food Panda, Ola, Oil Rooms. So there's so many startup companies coming up. How it's been possible? Because now it is easier for any of the companies to deploy their application services onto the cloud platform. they can transfer the risk, because if you are deploying your own data center, it is very, very difficult to roll back. You can't roll back once you deploy your own data center, because you already invested too much time, money, and effort in deploying your own data centers, right? So this reduces your many folds. Your company can focus on its core objective, its core business, and you can very well deploy all your applications and services with minimal time, effort, and risk. Okay. So this is how the data centers look like. So you have to take care of everything. This hardware, servers, routers, switches, cables, cooling, 24/7 uninterrupted power supply, internet connectivity. So all these things you require. So if you just go to the cloud, you don't have to take care of all these kind of things. Ramakrishna, your question is, when we are moving the services to hybrid, we should also compromise on the security, right? Ramakrishna, I would say that security is not a very big concern right now, because all these cloud providers, they have the best security practices in place. See, the thing is, of course, that it will take some time for the organizations to have more trust and confidence before they can move over their infrastructure on the cloud, right? But I would say that once we discuss Amazon Web Services, you will see that there's so many tools and services that we can use to secure our infrastructure. So if we are using all these application services judiciously and wisely, then there's no way that we are compromising on security. Okay, so all these cloud providers, they have the certifications, they are ISO certified, HIPAA certified, they have all the certifications and accreditations. Their security is being audited on daily basis or weekly basis, I would say that. Also, you have some tools at your disposal so that you can make your architecture secure. So in any ways, we can't compromise on the security if we have the best security practices in place. Subhash is saying, what's the trade-off between owning hardware and hosting in the cloud for 2 years? Let's say deployed Hadoop applications for 1,000 users. Subhash, if you have your own hardware, the hardware comes with a price. If you have your own hardware, you have to pay the upfront cost, right? So if you have to, for example, if you have to buy 10 servers, you have to pay for the 10 servers and then deploy the services and applications upon those 10 physical servers. Hosting your services in the cloud for 2 years means that you don't require any upfront investment in terms of money, because you don't have to buy any hardware. It is just that you can launch some of the virtual machines, and you have to pay by the hourly basis, right? So it's a kind of electricity-based model in which you pay by the hourly basis. You don't have to pay the upfront cost for the hardware. Okay. Karthik, your question is, in terms of availability management, how effective is this AWS and Azure? Is there any recovery time agreed with customers, or they have quicker failure options? Karthik, I'm not sure about Azure, but regarding the Amazon Web Services, they have certain strategies and the best practices to have some failure options. Some of the failure options are under the control of Amazon Web Services, and some of the failure options are directly under the control of the customer. So you as a customer, you can also facilitate the failure options in your architecture. Kurang question is that there are numerous cloud providers. Would you please describe the CSP you choose or cost? SaaS is the only decision maker. Kunal, the thing is that in selecting a cloud service provider, money is one of the factors, right? There are other factors that you will look into before deciding that which cloud provider suits you the best. For example, what kind of infrastructure your cloud provider has, how many data centers your cloud provider has across the globe, what are the location of those data centers, what kind of application and services you can deploy upon those data centers, how you can scatter your infrastructure across all these data centers. Okay. Also, what kind of failover options are there at your disposal? What kind of security tools and best practices are there at place? So I would say cost is not only the option. You have to look into other options as well. So these are the things that help you to decide that which cloud provider suits you the best. Ramakrishn's question is, what is the difference between Azure and AWS? Ramakrishnan, Azure is a Microsoft product, AWS is the Amazon product. Okay. Ramakrishnan is saying both are providing the same facility mostly. Ramakrishnan, I would say that it all depends upon you as a customer, that which one suits you the best. I can't compare the Azure and Amazon Web Services because both belongs to, I would say, big companies, big giants. Microsoft, I can't say that it can't compete Amazon Web Services, but why Amazon Web Services is the preferred one? Because it has low cost as compared to Microsoft Azure. Okay, and Amazon Web Services, they have a huge number of data centers as compared to Microsoft. So these are the two main benefits of the Amazon Web Services upon Microsoft. But I'm not saying that Microsoft can't compete Amazon Web Services. It is also somewhere down the line equal to the Amazon Web Services. So it's all up to you which suits you the best. All right. See, it all depends which thing is easier for you to access and all those kind of things. So I can't say that I can compare Azure with Amazon Web Services. See, Amazon Web Services, now it is leader in the infrastructure as a service domain, right? So Amazon Web Services, it claims that it has more than 1 million customers worldwide. Okay, so they have a cluster of data centers or chain of data centers across the globe. So it's a very, I would say, a big plus point for the Amazon Web Services. Guys, any questions, any doubts before we can just take a small break? I'm just pausing a few seconds. You can shoot your questions. In the meantime, I'll just see if we can just take a small break. I'm just pausing a few seconds over here. Alright guys, so any more questions? Alright, Kuram, okay, I've already answered your question. Ramakrishna has a question. To my knowledge, data centers of Azure is placed all over the globe like USA, East, West, Central China. All are failover clusters. Ramakrishna, I would say that, honestly speaking, I haven't worked on Azure. But Amazon Web Services, they have the their data centers in United States, Europe, India, Singapore, Australia. So they have around they have the, I would say, the presence in 13 different geographical locations. Okay, so I'll show the list of all those geographical locations where the Amazon Web Services, they have their cluster of data centers. Okay, yes, of course, Ramakrishna. So they have the cluster of data centers across the globe. Again, I'm saying let's not compare the Azure with Amazon Web Services because both are special in their own fields, right? Right now I'm using Mac as my operating system. Some are using Linux, some are using Windows. So I can't say that Windows is better, Mac is better, Linux is better. Which one suits you the best? Go for that, right? So Amazon Web Services also have the cluster of data centers across the globe. Microsoft also has. So which one suits you the best? Which one you think that can help you to scatter your resources and also it's cost effective? You can go for that. All right. Even Google is also a very preferred, I would say, cloud provider nowadays. Okay. So all these are the big competitors in the field. But from my experience, I can say that Amazon Web Services is one of the most preferred one. Okay. Kuram is saying, is cloud suitable in meeting today's business needs to meet the performance and security concerns? Of course, Kuram. See, the thing is, nowadays, I guess all the startup companies who are coming up in different parts of the globe, whether it's India, it's United States, Silicon Valley, it's Bangalore, all these applications are being deployed on the cloud platform. Almost, I guess, 90% of these services and applications are today cloud-based, right? Today we are using GoToWebinar. It is also deployed on one cloud. Edureka is using Google Cloud. This LMS that I showed you, it's been deployed on the Google Cloud. So all 90% of the organizations are using their web applications deployed on the cloud platform, right? See, the thing is that you get the same performance because nowadays we have a high-speed internet connections across all the locations, right? So if you have the high-speed internet connection scattered across the globe, it becomes easier to access your resources hosted on the cloud through your internet connection, right? Regarding the security, all these cloud providers have the tools, the best practices in place to make your architecture secure. Okay? So all these challenges, all these performance criteria are being met. That's why the cloud computing is gaining so much popularity. Okay. All right. So that's it, guys. I guess we should take a small break of 15 minutes, 15 minutes. Once we come back, we'll just continue with our conversation. All right. So let's take a break for 15 minutes. Please refresh yourself. Once you come back, we'll just continue. All right. Thank you so very much. Welcome back. I guess I'll be right back now. Okay, Sayed, I guess you have a question. You have raised the hand. Give me 1 second over here. So I'm just putting you off the mute. Yes, Sayed, what's your question? I can see your microphone is grayed out. I guess you have to, yeah.
Hi, Rohan. I just have one question. It's being working in a law firm. One of our major concern is the data security because all the confidential documents that we keep. And currently the documents, the size of the documents, we have more than 65 million documents. So for the security purpose, if we are putting our database into the cloud, how can I convince my team, like my directors, in terms of security?
All right. See, Sayed, regarding the data security, right? There are certain practices that's being followed by the Amazon Web Services. Now, I'll just read out a white paper later on. That white paper contains all the best practices, all the security things that have been taken care of by the Amazon Web Services. Apart from that, there are certain tools and features at our disposal that can help us to make our data secure even though that data is being hosted on the cloud platform.
Okay.
Right. Once we move forward, once we start seeing all the features and services, starting from the security groups, access control list, IAM, all the things we will see that how these things help us to make our data secure. Right? Once we go to the white paper, we'll see that what kind of things, because what happens is that each of the cloud provider has to go through some kind of audits, like whether they should be HIPAA compliant, SOC compliant. Let me show you that. Give me one moment. Hang on 1 second. I'm just going to show you that kind of the certifications or the accreditations that are being achieved by AWS. Just give me 1 second over here. Okay. See, if you can see over here, AWS compliance program. So these are all the certifications achieved by Amazon Web Services, and you can see over here this thing, this PCI DSS level 1 and this DoD CSM 1. Yeah. These are used because the US government has deployed their application services. Even the defense and research programs of US government, they are being deployed on the Amazon Web Services. So all these being audited by external auditors to ensure that they have all the best practices in place.
I think I get the idea. Before that, I had no idea about this, but after seeing this this slide, that explains a lot.
Yeah. See, the thing is, once we go to the white paper, we'll just go into in-depth understanding that what these certifications mean. Because if the US government is using AWS Cloud for its defense and research programs, so it means that they are this is secure.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Apart from that, we'll just discuss all these customer security responsibilities that we have to take care about, like firewalls, IAM, multi-factor authentication, CloudTrail. So there's so many things at our disposal that we can make our data more secure than before.
Absolutely.
So we'll discuss them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now this is a very quite important white paper. I guess we'll discuss that once we know what these features and services mean, right? So I guess in the end of the course we'll discuss all these white papers. Shared security responsibility model, what are the processes being followed by the Amazon Web Services to make their data center secure, the compliance program, customer security responsibilities, and so on. We'll discuss that. Okay. All right, guys, before we can just jump over and start discussing the topics, I would need to let you know that what kind of things or what kind of I would say self-study material you can get access to. First thing first, the most important thing is that you have to have access to something called free tour account. See, if you just open your browser and go to the site aws.amazon.com. I'm just copying and pasting this link for you so that you can get access to this website. Now this is quite essential. I guess this is your assignment for today. It is mandatory that all you guys should have access to the AWS Management Console or free tour account. You can see over here, start building your AWS today, create a free tier account. Now this account is free for next 1 year, for 12 months. Yes, there are some terms and conditions applied. You have to take care of the limitations that what kind of things that you can access. You just need to choose I am a new user, type in your email address, and then you have to put in your debit card or credit card information, and you can sign on. The sign-on procedure is quite simple. It's not a rocket science. Within 5 or 10 minutes, you'd be able to sign on. Now, during the sign-in procedure, you have to put your debit card or credit card information. Now, don't be afraid of that, because Amazon Web Services will not unnecessarily deduct any amount from your debit card, credit card. So the thing is, if you don't put your debit card or your credit card information properly, then this may reject your sign-on. Okay, so if you have put this information properly, you'll be able to sign on to your AWS Management Console. This is called a free tier account, or you can call it as a basic account. Now, I already have an account right now. Let me show you. Guys, today I'm just suffering from cold and cough, so forgive me if my voice is not coming properly because my nose is completely blocked. So I'm not able to speak out with a full enthusiasm and energy. So tomorrow I guess it will be much better. So I'm just signing on right now. What is that? Okay. Okay, so this is called the AWS Management Console. This is a one-stop destination from where you will create, deploy, implement, operate, and manage almost all the services. Okay, so you can see all these different colored icons over there. You will access most of the services in this course. Right? So this is mandatory for you to not download, but get access to it to sign on. So this is the first self-study material, or I would say the platform for you, because you would be accessing the same to perform your lab sessions. Right? This is mandatory because this is an assignment for you. It is mandatory for you to sign on. Right? Next thing is called the documentation. So once you sign on, you can see the documentation. If you just go to the site aws.amazon.com/documentation. Now from here you can access the documents, the detailed document of almost all the Amazon Web Services. Now some of you might ask a question, do we have the book available? I would say no. There is no printed book available in the market because Amazon Web Services is more practical based kind of subject. It is so vast, so intensive. I would say that they keep on changing the services on daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So the things that you may read right now might be after 2 or 3 months that will become outdated. So if some author today decides to release his book, after 6 months it will become outdated. So today if you decide to start your career with Amazon Web Services, you have to commit yourself to upgrade on daily or weekly or monthly basis, because they keep on coming with new services, new applications, new feature sets, so they keep on training. This documentation, this place is, I would say, the one-stop destination from where you can get access to documents of almost all the services, and these documents are updated one. Okay, I'm just copying and pasting this link for you so that you can just have a look on it. Right. Okay, so that you have this creator account, that's great. Ranga Reddy has a question in general, what they use in projects, the GUI or the CLI. Ranga, they can use either of them. Okay, we'll also use the CLI as well. So this is my second thing, that's the documentation. The third thing that you can access is called white papers. White papers are quite essential to go through some case studies, to see some of their research programs and all those kind of things. So optionally you can also go through the white papers. Now you don't have to go through all the white papers. I'll let you know which one of them are the most important from the examination perspective. Right. I'm sorry, it's called the white papers. All right. Next thing that you can access is called the updates. Just go to the site aws.amazon.com/new. From here you can see the updates on daily, weekly or monthly basis. And you can see the last announcement was done on July 29th. That was yesterday. Okay. So today is Saturday as per the Indian Standard Time. So you can see that they keep on giving the updates on daily basis. So from here you can see the recent announcements from Amazon Web Services. So I'm just copying and pasting this link for you. Oh, give me 1 second. All right, so I'll just copy and paste this link for you. aws.amazon.com/new. The other thing that you can access is called for blocks. I think this is the link. Okay, so from here you can access Amazon Web Services blocks. So they have the blocks that they publish on daily or weekly or monthly basis. You can just go through them and just get more knowledge. Right. Also, there are some forum discussions, some forums from where you can just discuss or you put your questions. Okay, it's called forums.aws.amazon.com. I'm just copying and pasting this link for you. See, the thing is, just in case if you have any questions, now this belongs to a whole community for the people who have access to the AWS accounts. Now with your free tier account, you don't get any technical support, right? If you have any query regarding some kind of billing information, they will help you with that. But with any kind of technical query, if you're using a free tier account, Amazon Web Services will never entertain you. The best destination for me is forums. I use it very frequently just in case if doing some kind of research programs or applying Amazon Web Services somewhere, if I face some trouble, I post a question on the forums. And most of the people who answer these questions are the developers who belong to Amazon Web Services community. So they come up with very, very precise, accurate, and best answers. What I've experienced is that they give more accurate answers as compared to the people who are into the support. So this is the preferred destination for me if I'm stuck somewhere and I have some kind of technical query. You can just post your question over here and the people will get back to you. Or if you search the forums, might be, for example, storage gateway. You will see different questions or different threads for this topic. Right, so you can see over here. So all the people they have put in their technical queries and their problems over here. Also, okay, I was facing some issue in the storage gate where I had put my query a month ago. Okay, so all these kind of questions you can see over here. Okay, if you don't see that your problem is associated with any of these forums or discussions, you can put a new discussion over here. All right. So all these are the applications or the platform or the material that you can access over the internet for free. All right. Now, once you sign on, this is how your console looks like. Okay. Shiva is saying, is Lambda is in free tier? Yes, of course, Shiva. Lambda is there in free tier. It is there. Now, guys, one thing I want to show you. Once you sign on to the Amazon Web Services console, at the top right corner, these are the 13 different geographical locations. These are called the regions where you have the cluster of data centers. Right? Just left to that, once you sign on, it will show you your name. Right now, it is showing my full name, Rohan Arora. You can see my account, billing and cost management, and security credentials and sign out. From here, you can sign out. So once you sign in, if you want to sign out, you can just sign out from here. So once you sign in, you get to this page, just access your account information. So just go to your name, underneath just go to my account, and from here you can access your account information. Now I'll show you what kind of account information you can access. First thing first, it will show you the account ID. Each and every account that's been created, it gets a unique account ID number. So whenever you open an account with Amazon Web Services, and in the future going forward, if you need some kind of technical support, you never say, hey, Amazon Web Services, I'm facing some trouble with the account. They'll say, okay, could you please let us know what's your account ID? So an account ID is unique for every account, for each and every account. So from here, you can fetch or get to know your account ID, your account name, password is hidden, your contact information that you put in during a sign-on. Okay. From here, you can also close your account. On the left side, you can see the payment methods. So I've put my debit card over here. Right. So from here, I can see, okay, now let me show you one more thing. Once you get access to account information, just below that, you have a thing called billing and cost management. This is where you can see the bill that you have accrued or accumulated for the services that you have used. Okay. Now you get a bill. The thing is that a bill is in US dollars. So for the Indian people, you have to convert that as per the exchange rate. Okay. So this is how much bill I have to give. Right. So under the billing and cost management, you can see that how much you have to bill, how much you have to pay, depending upon each and every service that you have used so far. Okay. Now it is saying that I've used data migration service. I'm not sure where I use that. Give me one moment over here. For EC2, this is how much I have to pay for Route 53, for KMS, for other services. So I can see the detailed breakdown of each and every resource that I've used. Just hang on one second over here. Okay, I'm not sure why they have asked me to pay for the data migration service because I haven't used this service, so I'll just get back to them. So what I'm saying in the billing and cost management, you can access all these contents from here, right? Now, the thing is, once you create something called free tour account, okay? Once we have the free tour account, we have to just access one more thing. That is how to create a billing alert. I just let you know how to create that. Say this saying, thanks a lot for extremely informative class. I think we have another 25 minutes left. I think, Sayed, there are 30 plus 20, 50 minutes left. Okay, you can leave, you can see the recording, but the class will get over after 50 minutes, 50, at 11:30 p.m. as per the Indian time. So Azhar, your question is, so will the billing start from very first day I create the account? I would say yes, Azhar. Yeah, thank you, Sayed. See, the thing is that this thing that you create is called the free tour account, but there are certain limitations that you have to take care about. Why? So if you just go to aws.amazon.com/free, or I would say, yeah, free. From here, I can see that what things I have at my disposal that are free. Or let me show the basic one. Let me just go to Google, AWS EC2 pricing. Let me just copy and paste the same link for you on the chat window. Over here, this is the sum of the free tour limits that you have to look into. If you exceed your free tour limitation, in that case, the Amazon Web Services will gonna charge you. Now, I take 5 to 6 batches every month. So I go with a very high intensive lab sessions where I do my own research programs. I take some more batches, right? So it is quite normal for me if I have to pay 5,000 or 10,000 bill every month. But for you, I think you don't have to pay more than $2 for any given month. That's the maximum you can go up to. Over here, if you see the free tour limitations, it says, now I'll just walk you through some of the free tour limitations. Please pay attention. you get 750 hours of EC2 running Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or SLES T2.micro instance usage. It is saying that for any given month, it's saying, let me show you that. New AWS customer will receive the following EC2 services each month for 1 year, which means all these things are available for you and for the entire 1 year for each month. Now it says that you have to pay, or you can run 750 hours of EC2 running Linux RHEL or SLES T2.micro instance usage. What do you mean by that? It means that you can run a single Linux T2.micro instance free for entire 1 month. If I just open the calculator to make it more understandable, give me 1 second. If I run an instance 24 hours a day and I run for 31 days in a month, it amounts to 744 hours. So if I run an instance for the entire 1 month, and that month contains 31 days, still I end up 744 hours. It says you can run 750 hours of EC2 running Linux, RHEL, Red Hat Linux instance, SLES. These are the Linux distributions. So you can run a Linux instance free for the entire 1 month, but that should be T2.micro instance type. I'll show you that. The same applies to Microsoft Windows Server 2012 or 2008. So you can run a Microsoft Windows Server instance free for entire 1 year, but it should be a T2.micro instance. I'll show you that. It's one of the instance types. You have 750 hours of elastic load balancer. Load balancer, it works upon instances. So I'll explain you load balancer in detail later on, but let's suppose this is my load balancer, LB. It distributes the traffic towards different virtual machines. I'll explain you later on. You get 30 GB of Amazon Elastic Block Storage in any combination of general purpose SSD, magnetic, plus 2 million I/O. So you get 30 GB of storage with your virtual machine. 15 GB of bandwidth out aggregated across all Amazon Web Services, and 1 GB of regional data transfer. So these are the free tier limitations that you have to look into. If you somehow exceed this limitation, then you have to pay some amount to the Amazon Web Services. So I've already covered and pasted this link for you. Also, you can just go to this one. But at this point of time, I would say that if you just go to this site, aws.amazon.com/ec2/pricing, these are the common one. I don't think that you have to look into more limitations. Seva is saying, what about an year? Will they disconnect me? No, Seva, they will not disconnect you. But after 1 year, your free tier account will become a business or enterprise account. So all these limitations will be null and voided. Subhajit is saying, are we creating an account today? Then July 16th will be taken as a month of usage out of free 12 months. Subhajit, today is 30th July as per the Indian date. So if you create today or 30th July, so till next 30th July or 29th July 2017, for entire 12 months, you will have a free tier account. So the time on the day will start from the day when you start the account. Okay. Seva is saying, so I need to cancel the account after an year? Yes, of course, Seva. After 1 year, you get a notification. They will ask you to upgrade your account. You can just close your account. Any questions, guys, regarding the free tier account? I'm just pausing for a few seconds. Shiva is saying is Lambda in the certification? No, Shiva. Lambda is not in the scope of this course. Ashutosh is saying, will they inform us before they charge or it will be automatically charged? Ashutosh, the first thing first is that you can just see the billing task management over here under account. I will let you know how to sign up for the billing alerts. I'll let you know. Okay. So that you get notification before you are being charged. Right. Now, I'll just walk you through a very simple procedure so that you can set up your billing alert. Venkat, your question is free tier sufficient for learning Amazon Web Services for certification? Venkat, it is more than sufficient. In the free tier, you can access all the services that you will access real time. Right? Kamesh is saying, can we, after the session, we will get a list of topics to read for the certification? Kamesh, I'll let you know. Okay? Now, guys, once you sign up for the account, right? Once you sign up for the account, I'll just walk you through a very simple procedure. Okay, and also so that you can set up your billing alert. So this is your AWS Management Console. So once you sign up, this is how the page looks like. At the top right corner, go to your name. Just go to billing and cost management. Once you go over there, let me just remove this alert. Give me 1 second, I'm just removing my previous alert so that I can show you from scratch. Let me just refresh this page. Right. So now, once you go over there, on the left side, go to Preferences. Now, you have to check mark this option. There's two options. Receive PDF invoice by email, or receive billing alerts. These are the two options that you have to check mark and click on Save Preferences. Let me show you the steps again. So once you log into your AWS Management Console, at the top right corner, go to your name, go to Billing and Cost Management. Once you go over there, on the left side, go to Preferences and check mark these two options, receive PDF invoice by email, receive billing alerts, and click on Save Preferences. Now, the first option says receive PDF invoice by email. At the starting of every month, first three days of month, you will get an invoice. That invoice will contain that how much you have to pay. Now let me show you how that invoice looks like. Give me one moment over here. Okay, so this is how the invoice look like. They will send you the invoice in the first week of every month, and this invoice they will send you in the PDF format. Even if you don't have to pay even a single rupee, still they will send you the invoice. Okay, so in the preferences you have to choose send the billing or the PDF so that you get the bill or the PDF, right? The next thing that you have to do is to create a billing alert. Okay. So how you can go about creating a billing alert? Just go to billing. So once you click on Save Preferences, your preferences will be saved. Under Receive Billing Alerts, it says turn on this feature to monitor your AWS usage charges and reoccurring fees automatically, making it easier to track and manage your spending on AWS. You can set up billing alerts to receive email notifications when your charges reach a specified threshold. Once enabled, this preference cannot be disabled. Click on Manage Billing Alerts. So I just click over here, Manage Billing Alerts. Now this will take me to a feature called CloudWatch. Over here, I need to create a billing alarm. This billing alarm will send me a notification if my monthly bill exceeds a certain threshold. Once I go click over there, I need to click on Create a Billing Alarm. It says when my total AWS charges for a month exceed, let's suppose $1, then send a notification to click on New List and type in your email address. So for any given month, if your bill exceeds, for example, $1 or $5, whatever threshold you can put, normally I put $1 or $2 maximum. In that case, the Amazon Web Services will send a notification to me. I just go ahead and click on Create Alarm. It says confirm new email address. So I need to open my email and confirm the subscription. Let's wait and refresh my inbox. Okay, you can see on the top I just received an email. It says to confirm the subscription, please click on the link below. I click on confirm subscription and my subscription would be confirmed. I'll just get a notification over here. You can see over here, right? So now if I just go back, my billing alert will be created. So for any given month, if my monthly bill exceeds $1, as soon as that threshold is being exceeded or met, I will get a notification. So apart from accessing your billing and cost management, you can enable receive the invoice or the PDF or the email, and also it is mandatory for you to create a billing alarm. Okay. And guys, what I'll do is I'll just give you the link from where you can just so this is your assignment for today. You have to do two assignments. First thing first, you have to sign up for the AWS Management Council, and I'm just giving you a link to a document so that you can create your billing alert. Just give me one moment over here. So this is a document I've just created for you. This document has a step-by-step procedure that shows you how to create your billing alert. So let me share the link with you. I'm just copying and pasting this link. You can just on the chat window, you can just download this document or access this document, and you have to do this assignment today itself. So you have two assignments. So there's another document that I'm sharing with you. This document is not that much detailed, so I think it's fine. So the link that I've given to you, this shows you the step-by-step procedure how to set up your billing alert. It's a 13-step procedure. There's a 2-page document with screenshots, you can access it and create your billing alert. Okay? So I think this is probably challenging for you. So this is your assignment. You have to create your account and set up your billing alert. Tomorrow if you face any trouble, you can just let me know. So you have to choose a basic. Our side question is basic or developer or business or enterprise. Which one of the following we have to select? You have to go for the basic account. Okay. Venkat, I've copied and pasted the link on the chat window. All right. So guys, I've just copied and pasted a Google Drive link. Please copy and paste that on the notepad file so that you can access the document and set up your billing alert. Okay. Shiva, that is that estimated charges means that if the charges remain there for 6 hours, then you get the alert. Okay, so don't look into the number of hours. We are just concerned about the threshold. Okay. All right. Just give me a second over here. So I guess you just do it to itself. All right. So Venkat, regarding the navigation, Windows have sent you the document, the link. You can access it. All right. Okay. So let's move forward now. Thanks, Venkat. Okay. So I discussed the multi zones. I guess someone has raised the hand. Okay, Raj. Raj, I just put you off the mute. What's the question? Raj, I can't hear you right now because I'm not getting any audio from your side. It's not allowing you to set the alerts. What's the error message you're getting, Raj? Guess let me know the error message. Because if your account is set up properly, then it should not give you any problem while setting up the billing alert. All right. So I guess we can continue with our conversation. I guess, okay. Now once you create your account and set up the billing alert, it's time for you to navigate through these things called regions. At the top right corner, just write to your name. These are the 13 different regions, or these are called the geographical locations where the Amazon Web Services, they claim they have their cluster or data centers. They have in North Virginia, California, Oregon, Ireland, Frankfurt, Tokyo, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Mumbai, and Sao Paulo. So these are 13 in total. Now, Mumbai is the newest one. This was just launched, I guess, 3 weeks ago, right? So they have a cluster of data centers or 2 data centers in Mumbai. Before that, they created or they launched their region in South Korea, Seoul. North Virginia was the first one from where they started, right? So these all are called regions. So if I call a region is nothing more than a geographical location. So region is equal to a GL, a geographical location where the Amazon Web Services claim that they have the cluster of data centers over there. Now, in each region, the data centers are called the availability zones. Let me show you that. For example, I just go to EC2 compute section over here. Right now, I'm in the Northern California region. Right. So over here, this thing, US West North California is my region, which means it's a geographical location where the Amazon Web Services has a cluster of data centers. And these are the 2 data centers located in the premises of this region. Each of this data center is called an availability zone. Right. So this is over here my first availability zone, and this is my second. The cluster of these 2 availability zones, they combine together and form my region. For example, let's suppose that this circle is my entire region. These small squares are different data centers called availability zones. For example, each availability zone I represent as AZ, AZ1, AZ2, AZ3. Each of these data centers are clustered together with high-speed fiber optic connections. So a region is a geographical location. Within the premises of each region, you have a cluster of data centers called availability zones that are binded together with high-speed fiber optic connections. Now let's pick another region, North Virginia. Now this is my another region of Northern Virginia, and these are the 4 distinct data centers, all the availability zones. So over here, these are my 4 AZs of 4 availability zones of 4 data centers, DCs, and they are located in the premises of this region called North Virginia. Okay, let's pick one of the Asia Pacific region. Let's open this, Mumbai. In the Mumbai region, where they have the cluster of data centers, they have these 2 distinct data centers or the availability zones, AP South 1A, AP South 1B. These 2 data centers or availability zones are binded together with high-speed fiber optic connections, and they combine together to form a region called Asia Pacific Mumbai. Right? So Subhajit is saying it's not visible. I'm not saying showing what's saying it's not visible. Okay, so these are the availability zones. Now you pick any one of the regions, Tokyo, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, you will see one thing. Each and every region contains at least 2 distinct availability zones. What's the reason behind that? To achieve fault tolerance. For example, let's suppose today you decide that I want to use Tokyo as my preferred region, and you scatter your resources across 2 different availability zones. Well, let's suppose that the top one, this one goes down. You can very well use the second one and re-replicate your resources and operate from here. So why the Amazon Web Services, they have the best practice to have at least 2 data centers in each region? The reason being to create the backup applications and to have a fault tolerant and create highly available applications. You can have more than 2, but it will never go below 2. So they have this kind of best practice in place that each region should comprise of 2 distinct data centers or 2 distinct availability zones, so that you can have a fault tolerant design and you can create the highly available applications. Subhajit is saying the screen is getting freezing. Subhajit, you can just check your internet connection, or you can just log out or log back in. All right. Okay. Now, there is a certain naming convention or how these AZs are represented. Let's suppose, let me just go to Northern California. Now, in the Northern California, a Northern California region is always represented as US West 1. If I say US West 1, I'm referring to Northern California region. If I append A, B, or C, these become my 3 distinct availability zones. Over here, US West 1 is my region of Northern California. If I append B over here, this entire US West 1B becomes my 1 availability zone. US West 1, then append C, US West 1C becomes my another availability zone. Let's take another example. I go to North Virginia on the top, and the US East 1. This points towards my North Virginia region. If I append A, B, C, D, E, they become my 5 distinct data centers or availability zones. For example, US East 1, A is my first availability zone. US East 1, B is my second one. US East 1, D is my third one. US East 1, E is my fourth one. Let's take another example. I choose Asia Pacific Mumbai as my preferred region. So Asia Pacific Mumbai would be represented as AP South 1. So AP South 1 is the Mumbai region. If I append A and B, these become my 2 distinct availability zones. So AP South 1 is my Mumbai region. If I append A, it becomes my 1 availability zone. AP South 1, B becomes my 2nd availability zone. So this is how your region and availability zones are being represented. Okay. Venkat is saying why California didn't have 1A. It's a good question, Venkat. See, the thing is, sometimes the data centers are being maxed out. There's not enough room in that data center to accommodate more resources from other customers. That's why it doesn't show up in the list. Ashutosh is saying, what's the benefit of different regions? Does it mean that our current physical server is Mumbai, then we should choose Mumbai region in case we're going to cloud? Ashutosh, I would say the benefits of multiple regions is that first thing first, it helps you to scatter your resources across different globe. Now, if you are a multinational company, right, you would prefer that you should have the resources scattered across different regions. Right? For example, if your company is in Mumbai, but you have your employee or customer base in Singapore, Australia, United States, Europe, then in that case you will scatter your resources across different regions. That's the reason. Ashutosh is saying, how about of our physical service in Mumbai? I choose US. Ashutosh, the first thing first, if you're going to the Amazon Web Services, there's nothing called physical server over here, because the AWS, they never give you access to the physical resources. You can access the virtual machines, but not the physical resources, unless you're going for the dedicated host, right? So either you choose the Mumbai, or you choose the US regions, or you choose the both. It's up to you. Okay. So guys, what I'm planning is that we can continue with our conversation tomorrow, because I'll just go in depth in detail and discuss our regions, availability zones, and edge locations from tomorrow. Today I just gave you a very brief overview. Okay. So today's session I just want to keep it very simple, very plain, because I don't want to overstress you with the information. Tomorrow, from tomorrow, we'll start diving into the technical concepts and terminologies. Okay, so please, it's my humble request, sign up for the AWS account, set up your billing alert. I've just given you the link to download the document, go through the steps and set up the billing alert. Okay, because I can ask any one of you to show your screen. Okay, tomorrow we'll deep dive into our regions, availability zones, and edge locations. We'll discuss our EC2, AMI, and different concepts. So from tomorrow, we'll start deep diving in. So today's class was quite basic. All right. Any questions, any doubts before we can wind up? I guess that you have you're able to create the billing alert. Kamesh, you're saying documents for the certification. Kamesh, I have given you a link, aws.amazon.com/documentation. From there, you can access the documents for almost all the services. Okay. Kamesh, the thing is that what I will do is tomorrow I'll show you that. I'll discuss the topics that we would be covering in this course. So all those topics would be important from the examination perspective. So tomorrow I'll discuss that. Okay. Venkat, your question is, does this cover associate architect or is this a separate one? See guys, the thing is, let me show you one thing. If you just go to one site, let me show you that. The site is called aws.amazon.com/certification. Once you go over there, you can see the whole list of certifications that you can go for. This course is focused on one single certificate, that is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So Venkat, for you, you can see the entire list of topics that you need to be aware of to get access to the certification topics and concepts. If you scroll down, you can just click here to view the full details in the exam blueprint. You can click over here and you can just download the blueprint of this examination. So this will somewhere give you an overview that what kind of topics that you should be aware of. Okay. So I'm just copying and pasting this link for you so that you can just go through this entire web page. Tomorrow I'll just show you the bunch of topics that we're going to discuss. Cost of this examination is $150 US, and it's a multiple choice question and answers. Any more questions, guys, before we can wind up? I think that's it for today. I guess someone has raised the hand. Raj, I'm not sure whether you're still facing a problem. If yes, then you can just let me know. Okay. Okay, Raj, I was putting you off the mute because previously I was not able to get any audio from your side. Yes, Raj, I just put you off the mute.
Okay. The reason why I was not able to create the billing alert was there was no instance, EC2 instance. So now I created an EC2 instance. When I try to go back and create alerts, still it's not taking effect. I'm not sure why. When I go to my EC2 instance, it says monitoring is disabled.
Okay, so once you launch your instance, then you are able to create a billing alert now.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is not supposed to do that because you should be able to create a billing alert even if you don't have even a single instance running. But I'm not sure why in your case it is giving you this kind of problem. But anyhow, you are able to get access to the billing alert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. So and also you have check mark that option that receive the invoices over the PDF in the preferences.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. All right, guys, that's it for today. Now, after the session gets over, you'll get a feedback form. Please fill in the feedback form because it's quite important for us to get to know that where we need to improve upon, what things we can add more to enhance your experience and knowledge. And also it's a kind of a thing that I have to show, a report card that I have to show to the management. So it's my humble request, once this session gets over, please fill in the feedback form. So just after the session gets over, you get the feedback form. You have to rate the instructor, you have to rate the content, and obviously you can put in the comments. Tomorrow, we'll just meet at the same time and we'll just continue with our conversation. All right? So thank you so much for your time and patience. We'll meet tomorrow. And last but not the least, please fill in the feedback form. All right? Goodbye. Bye-bye.